It's high time to awake. Bible prophecy with Craig C. White. Hello, everybody. This is Craig C. White with hightimetoawake.com. Today's study is titled The Leopard is Upon Us, a new look at Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7 looks at four beasts. In the Bible, beasts represent nations or empires or groups of nations. Today we might call them unions, and sometimes they refer to world empires. A world empire doesn't necessarily cover the whole world. There's been 7 world empires throughout ancient world history. They've always covered roughly the same geographic area, and that is from Europe to India, and from southern Russia to Saudi Arabia. So that's the old world. Every world empire in the past has been contained in the old world. Daniel chapter 7 describes 3 unions that combine to form the next world empire. In the past, many Bible teachers have interpreted Daniel chapter 7 and the beasts of Daniel chapter 7 as representing the ancient world empires. But I don't think that's right at all. In Daniel chapter 7 verse 12, the first 3 empires or unions outlive the 4th world empire. So all of these unions or all of these empires that are represented by animals exist at the same time. And the 4th beast or the 4th empire is the next world empire, and everybody agrees with that. The next world empire exists during the tribulation period. So if the first 3 beasts outlive the 4th beast, they all must exist together during the tribulation time and even past the time that Jesus Christ returns at his second coming. So these beasts in Daniel chapter 7 represent modern day empires. In Daniel chapter 7 verse 1, it says, "In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters." Daniel received his prophetic vision in the first year that Belshazzar was king of Babylon. Belshazzar was the final king in Babylon. The city of Babylon was overthrown with Belshazzar in the city. As a matter of fact, in Daniel chapter 5, it describes Belshazzar having a drunken feast and drinking out of the vessels that he stole from the temple in Jerusalem. He saw a disembodied hand writing on the wall, and he was terrified. That was the fall of the city of Babylon and the end of the Babylonian Empire. So we should not interpret the empires that are represented by beasts in Daniel as ancient world empires, because the Babylonian Empire was at an end. So Daniel's dream wouldn't be prophecy, it would be history. In Daniel chapter 8, the Persian Empire is represented by a ram, and the Grecian Empire is represented by a goat. In Daniel chapter 7, the beasts are a lion with eagle's wings, a bear, a leopard, plus the final beast that's a combination of the first 3 beasts. If Daniel chapter 7 represents the ancient world empires of the Babylonian Empire and the Grecian Empire and the Persian Empire, then why did Daniel use different animals to represent these empires? The beasts in Daniel chapter 7 represent end-time world unions, and they are mostly identifiable today. Daniel chapter 7 verse 3, "And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another." I think that you will see that these beasts come up one at a time, but then continue on together. Daniel chapter 7 verse 4, "The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld until the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it." The Babylonian Empire was represented by a lion, but it was not represented by a lion with eagle's wings. There's one nation whose symbol is a lion with eagle's wings, and that is England. I think that England is represented here in Daniel chapter 7 verse 4. We will see later on that 4 kings from these empires stand up to form the next world empire. So I think that England in Daniel chapter 7 verse 4 may represent the entire European Union. This lion had eagle's wings, but they were plucked off. It may be that the eagle's wings represent the United States of America as they were plucked away from England during the Revolutionary War. I think that the lion is pictured here in the state that it will be in when the final world empire is created. Daniel chapter 7 verse 5, And another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Bible prophecy teachers for the last 100 years have identified the bear in Daniel chapter 7 as being Russia. The bear is pictured having 3 ribs in its mouth, and they say, Arise, devour much flesh. I think that these 3 ribs are 3 nations along Russia's southwest border. They may be nations that are involved in the new Russian Union. Russia has recently created a new Russian economic union that includes Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. It was initially supposed to include Ukraine, but at the last minute, Ukraine backed out. As you know, Russia has already taken Crimea and is threatening to take over Ukraine. So the bear in Daniel chapter 7 verse 5 is pictured in the process of conquering nations and forming an end-time Russian union. The Russian bear is lifted up on one side. I think this pictures Russia as it conquers nations along its southwestern border. The nations along the southwestern border are nations that were previously part of the Soviet Union. Daniel chapter 7 verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. When the Bible describes beasts with heads, that's some sort of division in the kingdom, usually kings or nations. Let's remember that the leopard probably represents an end-time union. This union is comprised of 4 main nations represented by the heads of the leopard, and the wings on the back of the leopard probably represent 4 lesser members of this union. I want to tell you that I think that we can see the beginnings of the formation of this end-time union represented by a leopard right now. I think that this leopard represents a Middle Eastern union headed by Turkey. Turkish President Erdogan has told the world that he intends to form an Islamic union. The first nation that he wants to add to his union is Syria. So Turkey wants to conquer Syria and put Muslim Brotherhood leadership in charge in Syria. I think that Turkey will join together with Syria, Iraq, and Iran as the 4 main nations of this union. So the next thing that we should probably expect to happen along the Bible prophecy timeline is that Turkey will invade Syria, destroy Damascus, and remove Syrian President Assad from power. Daniel chapter 7 verse 6 indicates that dominion was given to this union represented by a leopard. That may mean that this new Middle Eastern union will be a recognized government on the world stage. Daniel chapter 7 verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Every Bible teacher agrees that this beast in Daniel chapter 7 verse 7 represents the world empire that will exist during the end times. This world empire will be ruled by the Antichrist and will oppress Israel. Jesus Christ will destroy it at his second coming. This beast has 10 horns. Horns in Bible prophecy very commonly refer to kings. There is a common view that these 10 kings represent 10 divisions of the European Union. That is an assumption, and personally I don't think that's correct. The 10 horns on the final world empire, we are told later on that the 10 horns represent 10 kings. Those 10 kings could represent nations from any part of the old world. or the 10 horns may represent a 10-king council that's put into power over the next world empire. In Revelation chapter 13, verse 1 and 2, we are introduced to the same beast that we just read about in Daniel chapter 7, verse 7. This beast in Revelation chapter 13 is a combination of all three beasts that we read about in Daniel chapter 7. Revelation chapter 13, verse 1 and 2. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. The beast in Revelation chapter 13 is the same beast in Daniel chapter 7, verse 7. This beast exists during the end times. There's no question in my mind that the beasts in Daniel chapter 7 represent 3 end-time unions that combine to form the next world empire. Daniel chapter 7, verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, that's referring to the first 3 beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. After Jesus Christ destroys the next world empire at his second coming, the lives of these first 3 unions will live on. That means that the European Union, the new Russian Union, and the new Middle Eastern Union will continue to exist at least for a short while after Jesus Christ's second coming. Make sure you go to hightimetoawake.com, check out my Bible prophecy commentaries, and also check out my Bible prophecy books on Amazon. This is Craig C. White with hightimetoawake.com, and I'll see you next time.